Hey, good morning, guys. This is Simon with Floh AI. I wanted to do a trade review of the levels from yesterday, and I want to start with NQ. So you'll see from NQ that so what I was looking for versus what we got, right? So you'll see that we gapped down, right? So I'm gonna line this up for you. We gapped down below prior day's high, but below prior day's low. That's pardon me. That is the green line, right? This is low, this is high, right? The pink areas are value area low and value area high from prior day. And then the dotted pink lines, this and this, are prior day's value area low. So the reason these are important is because these are relatively easy to travel through. And then you have the yellow line here. So the reason the yellow line is here is you wouldn't have so much expected rejection here. It's a pivot point and it's a rejection point. But what I would have wanted to see as the market rolled down, come into this yellow area and bounce out. Instead, we were already below, and we actually had gone significantly below. If you look at the 24-hour, and let me flip that over for you so you can see it. Below pretty quickly. You can see here in the morning, so this is the way it was supposed to work, right? So you can see here at, let me back up a little bit. Okay, so this is coming down. We have a small bit of econ at 7:30. You can see the market has gone into trend day down starting at 6 in the morning. We can't get over a 5-minute bar, get a positive close over a negative bar, right? And this becomes support, and we pretty much trade through it. So normally, two things. When I'm looking at this, what I would have expected is to come into the yellow zone and bounce out, or like it did here, right? See how it comes down? It just missed it, but comes up, backside test, rejects. Or the opposite, right? Breaks through, backside test, and rejects. And if it gets back above, like it did right here, what I wanted it to do, and it almost did it, you can see it almost wicked in, so I wanted it to backside test here and set me up with an algo for the long. None of that happened, and that's okay. Since we didn't use this as a pivot, all this area below, since it's in a prior value area, is easily traded through. So what the market decided to do is to go to an open drive higher. That's 1, 2, 3 bars. In this case, it's 20 minutes, but it's 3 bars. None of the bars could close underneath themselves. That is 3 5-minute bars. That is open drive higher, signaling to me that buyers are in control. But we're underneath prior day's high. So this becomes the next challenge. Prior day's low, excuse me. We get into prior day's low. They attempt to reject. We trade sideways for 20 minutes. We can't do it at 9 o'clock. I believe we get another piece of econ, and the market pops and drives all the way through. See this pink area here to pink area here? So the blue area tells you where the prior day's point of control is. That's usually a choppy area. You can see where we chop, and it drives all the way through value area to the end, and that's where we rejected. But for me, I'm not trying to be perfect on my shorts, so I'm just not going to try to short right when they nail it. That's pretty much almost a 160, 170 point open drive higher, but as it turned out, not trend day up, because trend day up for me usually requires being above the prior day's high, gap, hold the gap, and then go. So it was just a weird day, and I wasn't able to hook anything up from that perspective. The important part was I knew not to short any of this, because the other important part was there's no rotation. You can then see we exhausted, and this is what I mean by, I go, there's no rotation. And people go, what are you talking about, Simon? It went up 170, then it went down 100 points. What I want it to do is this: set up, make an impulse move, retrace, then go lower. Right? I want some kind of consolidation, some kind of retest to get my entries, and I just couldn't get it yesterday. And so when it goes straight down, straight up, it requires me to be perfect at the edges, and that's not who I am as a trader. Even if the signals are there, I have a hard time trading, and that's where it becomes important to know who you are. What we then proceeded to go, again, all the way through the value area, right? And then we tested the back below prior day's low. You would think, oh, we've got a trap, right? Back to all the way through the fair pricing to unfair pricing, where we found responsive buyers. That also happened to align with the 50-60 retrace, right? Just past the 50, which is normal, towards the 62 retrace, and found responsive buyers. I don't beat myself up too much on days like today. They're just not my cup of tea. But they can be traded. You'll see Matt traded it very nicely. Ben traded it very nicely. it's just not for me. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. I want to look at ES because it was the same thing, much the same thing. This is the ES 5-minute algo. You can see that we opened up. We drove out of the unfair pricing from Monday, all the way through the fair pricing up to prior day's low. They attempted to reject off of prior day's low, small rotation down, then continued up to the prior day's volume point of control. It's a choppy area. They traded straight through it. They couldn't quite make it up above to the unfair, all the way through the unfair pricing. This is a 50-60 retrace back down, and again, I just found little to like on that. Obviously, you could have attempted the 50-60 retrace, but even without it, took a good hour to get the turn on that, so you'd have to take a couple stabs at it, and there was just nothing there. If you look at the bigger picture, here's NQ 50-60 retrace, right? So the first thing you'll see is this was an inside day to Tuesday, pretty much. I know we traded underneath, but for the majority of the day, we spent at the bottom end of Tuesday's range, and we really just need you can now see we need to either break above Tuesday's high or break below Monday's high to change the character of the market. And these lines are all 50-60 retraces, right? Going off the low back on the second. And you can just, so these are the important areas, right? 17,923, 17,830, 17,729, and then the big one, the big 50-60, if we pull down to 17,696 to 17,551. Buyers clearly have a stranglehold on this, and with VIX at 13, I would expect that to continue. Anyways, my name is Simon. I'm with Floh AI. Please look us up on the Floh, on the Discord servers, or you can follow me at Trade and Perform on Twitter, and I will go and we will chat later. Have a great day, and let's kick it. See you guys.